Let us say I want this router to allow us to do telnet to him. Okay, I want you to be able to sit from here. I want you to sit from here and configure this router. As of now, for you to configure a router, you need to be directly connected, right? You have to connect using a console cable. And so what will we do here is, we will simply go and configure this router to allow us to do telnet. And for us to do telnet, the basic requirement is the router must have a password. So enable secret 111, and you have to be in the global configuration mode for this. So configure terminal first, and then you have to say line VTY 0/4. This 0/4 means how many people can simultaneously log in on the device. So 0 is a valid number. So 5 people can sit on one device at a given point of time, multiple users. Here I will say password, and I will password 111, and I will say login. So this command will allow us to do telnet on the router. Telnet is an application layer protocol, works on the port number 23. And simply what we will do is, we will go on our router 1 and we will paste this configuration. You can do telnet from any of the places. It is just that the reachability must be there. So what I'll do is, I'll sit on the PC and I will first test my connectivity. Connectivity must be there always. And after that, how will you telnet on a remote machine? You will say telnet the IP address of that host. The moment I say telnet 1.1, it says open. It is asking me for the VTY password. After that, I say enable, then it will ask me for the enable secret password. So where am I standing now? I am standing on the router 1. I am initiating a connection from this PC to this router over here. Simply what I can do is, if you want, I can say copy my running configuration to the TFTP server. So what we'll do is, I am sitting here, my machine is on the some other floor, and there is a TFTP server somewhere on the LAN. This server has services. There is a trivial file transfer protocol server over here. I will delete all the files as of now. What I will do is, I will go on this PC. I am sitting on the router. I told him, please copy the config, your running config on the TFTP server. What does he say? What is the address or the name? The address of the server is 192.168.5.100. If you recall this, no, we deleted the diagram. So this, he say, what is the file name to give it to the TFTP server? I'll say simply R1. Just take this, go to this server and please tell him, keep my file with this name. See, 2 exclamations, and the file is copied. Where am I doing this operation from? I am doing this from my PC over here. I am doing this from my PC and I am working on the router. If I see on the TFTP server, we are using the power of resources, power of network. See here, the TFTP server has received the file. Similarly, I can also back up my iOS. I can say dir. See, it says dir, but here the permissions are Linux. Directory read, write, and execute. This is the iOS file, right? What we can do is, we can also use this file and copy this file. I'll say copy from the flash to the TFTP server. He says, what is the source file name? I'll say, this is the source file name on the flash drive. What is the name of the TFTP? 192.168.5.100. What is the name that I should take to keep it over here? I will say R1_iOS. See, it is doing the dance. As of now, it is pushing all the iOS on your TFTP server. So if you want to back up the iOS on the TFTP server remotely, we are logging on this router from this PC. And let us see whether the operation is successful. Yes, I see my iOS is also backed up. Similarly, I can go from here and configure all the devices, but these devices must allow us to do telnet. For example, if I want to say telnet this guy, but this guy is not configured to be telneted, so can I do that? I will say exit. I can say ping 192.168.2.2. reply comes, but I cannot telnet on that device because he says closed by the foreign host. Closed means he is not allowing us to do telnet. So we have to enable telnet, and then only this device will allow us. What is the basic configuration? It is simple. I will do a mistake over here. I will not say enable secret now. Let us see the error. What is the error? Line VTY 0 space question mark. Every router will have its own number. Every line VTY 0 space 4 password 111 login. I have enabled the telnet, right? Let us go on this PC. Any PC, it is not mandatory that you should be on one particular device. I can telnet. Let's say enable. It says no password set. If you do not give the enable password, you will be able to go on the router, but you will not be able to go inside. Here, if you want to check, only a few commands will be allowed. If you want to say show run, not working, show question mark, show commands will be there, show sessions, show users. Show users is a very nice command. It tells you who has logged in on your device. See, it is telling me that this is a connection. This is a place wherein someone has logged in. This is R2 and 1.2 is using this device. I can say exit, and I can also say clear line, and I can clear his line also. But as of now, if I clear my line, I will only be deleted. Let me try and do this. Clear line is not allowed over here, but in real device wherein I use my access terminal, I can clear someone out of my session also. Getting the point? So let us go there. Let us give the enable password, enable secret, any password that you want. And now this should allow us enable. Now we are inside because the password was set. I went and gave it an enable password, and now it is allowing me to telnet on this router. Getting the point? Now, what will we do? Telnet is an application layer protocol, works on the port number 23, but the drawback of Telnet was what? It is going to send the data in clear text. Anybody who is grabbing the data can see the data in clear text. We do not want that. We want this router to give us Telnet, but in a secured way. We want to configure this router using SSH, secure shell. It is again an application layer protocol, works on the port number 22. SSH is 22. We'll go on this router and set up SSH. For you to do SSH, these are the same parameters. Enable configure terminal. Sorry, you should be in the global config. There must be an enable password, enable secret 111. But for doing SSH, you require a domain kind of environment. So you need to say IP domain -name. Manoj, if you say this is the company's name, if you have a domain, you require users into it. So you will create a user name, Manoj, and password for that user. Like that. So I have a domain, I have a username and password. In here, you have to generate the cryptographic keys. You can say, you have to say crypto key generate RSA. RSA, these are keys. These will be the RSA modulus. This will generate the keys for encryption, you can say. So what is the basic requirement for SSHing on a device? There, it must be a part of a domain. It must have a user and it must have these keys generated. After I generate these keys, the router will prompt me for the strength of the keys. He will tell me to put a number from this to this. The higher the number of keys, the more powerful it is. So we will use any number over here. We will use 1024, medium kind of strength. So let us first go on the router and let us say the basic parameters. We are on router 3. Let us say enable secret, domain, username in a domain, and crypto key generate RSA. He says this will be generated. Also understand one thing, there must be a host name also configured before this. He is asking me for the strength, and he says, okay, this is the number. So 1024 is medium. I like this. I am generating keys. Right? Now, you have to say line VTY 0 space 4. Here you have to say transport input. Sometimes you will be allowing only SSH or only Telnet. If you want to be very particular that only I will allow SSH on this router, I will not allow Telnet. So you will say transport input SSH. If we say transport input all, means SSH and Telnet both will be allowed. If you say SSH particularly, only SSH connections will be allowed. So basic configuration is very simple. Let us go and test this one. Let us go in here and try to ping first. Always ping the device. That IP is 192.168.4.2, and I'll say Telnet 192.168.4.2. It says it's open but it's closed. But now I say SSH -L. -L is the username. I will say Manoj, and password, sorry, not password, SSH-L and the destination IP. Now it's open. Why? Because it is allowing SSH. It is not allowing Telnet. Sorry, password was, I think, 111. What was the password I kept? But yeah, so SSH-L at this IP, maybe 111. Let me check. I must have done something else, or the username is in capital I suppose. See, I am inside now. Sorry, I am inside the router. I am on router 3. I think I was on our router 2. I am SSHing from router 2. If I say exit, I'll come on router 2, and now I am on the PC. So I was into it. It's kind of a SOX proxy. I log in on one and I log in on the other. I'll say SSH-L Manoj 192.168.4.2 111. Maybe it's this M is capital. Let me check. Okay, but we were able to log in. I can test this one also, but I was able to get onto the router and it allowed the Telnet session, SSH session. Let us see. Show run. Domain name is this. Password is 111 as of now. Now let us do one thing. If I say, if I go from any device and I SSH-L MANOJ, .1 is my PC.
Maybe M capital.
Yeah, I am over here. I am inside the router. Enable 111, and now I am on the router, right? I can say configure terminal interface fast Ethernet 0/0, right? Maybe it's a gigabit interface. Yeah, it is a gigabit interface. I can go on the interface, right? And I can do anything I want, right? I don't want that anybody should come in. Any Tom, Dick and Harry comes in here and he says configure the router and he can change the configuration. I do not want that. I want there is a user who has lesser privileges. For example, let us create a user over here. Username test, and I will say privilege. There are actually 15 privilege levels. You can say from 0 to 15 you can decide a privilege. I will give him a medium privilege, and I will set a password of test for this user. So I will give this to my network operator, so he can only test, and if he logs in, he will be entitled for a privilege level 7. Now let us see. If I go from here, I will say SSH-L test 192.168. 1.5.1. See, TEST, his password. I don't know why it takes so long. Let me check. I gave the enable, but if you log in, I don't know why the command is not working. It should allow us to do SSH on that device, but SSH-L is correct. I gave, maybe there is some issue with this. Let's go and do it from other device. SSH-L test 192.168.4.2 test. It's not allowing. We'll do it on another device, but if you log in on this device, I don't know what is the issue with this. Privilege password is test, yes, username. But if you log in from this username, he will not allow you. Let me say enable. I have done configure terminal line VTY 0/4 login. Until password is set. Okay, password test login. Now let us test it again. Later on, once I come out, this guy is giving me the access. But see, this I have logged in via this test user, right? I can say enable. I will say 111, and I can say configure terminal. It says okay here. I'll say exit. Let us say SSH-L test 5.1 111. I'll do it on another device maybe. Because if you log in with this test, you cannot go inside the configure terminal mode. Yeah, I am inside now. If I say enable, my enable password is 111. I can say configure terminal. It is allowing. Let me change the privilege level, and it should also work. Username ABC, privilege 7, password ABC. Let us test it from other PC. SSH-L ABC 192.168.4.2 ABC. It's not logging. Let me check and get back to you. Let us see. Let us do it on another software, and we'll do this. I forgot to give one command. That's what I recalled over here. I need to say configure terminal line VTY 0/4. I need to say login local. Login using the local database. It is not using the local database until and unless I do not specify this. So let us go on any device. Let us go and test it. I will say SSH ABC. It is allowing me to do that. Now if I say configure terminal, it says oops, it's not allowed. Why? Because your privilege level is not this one. If I say exit, if I say login with this username, and it will say okay, what is the password? I think it is MANOJ. No, it is 111. I am on the router. Enable 111. Configure terminal. Username, this guy has all the privileges. He can enter the global configuration mode. But if you log in from that user, if you log in with user ABC, he cannot go in the global configuration mode. Getting the difference? So you can create a username. Just don't forget to give login local like me. Login local means login, allow the login and check the local database. So if I use a local database, it will be checking the passwords over there. So I won't be able to go inside. I can say show run. Show run, no, it will not work. Show IP interface brief, although will work. Some commands will work, some commands will not work. It is defined in the privilege level. Getting the point? So that completes our Telnet and SSH configuration.
Okay.